Hello everyone and welcome to the 7th episode of the MMA Take Podcast. I want to thank you all for joining me today as we break down the amazing event. Well, the okay event that was UFC 227, but first things first, Jesus fucking Christ, I want to thank you all so much for the support that we've been getting over just this past week, week basically. It's been unreal. The YouTube channel's grown just immensely. I can't believe it. I lost of words. I was just checking the channel every day and it was just getting bigger and bigger. We did a fun little live stream on the Friday, which was fun. We had a few people joining there, which was just amazing. Talk to you guys. So yeah, that was fun to do. We also then had the podcast go up on the sound on SoundCloud, not even SoundCloud, but not even on SoundCloud, on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, and Spotify, and all that. Just the fucking plays that we got from that was amazing. And then we go over to YouTube, and the plays just it's just ridiculous how many people listened to the podcast last week. So I just want to thank you all for joining. Thank you all for the new fans that we've gained. Hopefully I can stay just as fun to listen to as before. But yeah, the YouTube channel is going fantastic. This is going fantastic. So wherever you are, if you just enjoy the podcast, give us a like, give us a rating, do whatever you got to do, but let's not piss around anymore. UFC 225. Now, on a whole, you've got to be looking at this and going, you know what, this card should have just, on paper, this card was the best fight card we've seen in a very, very long time. But, we had so many decisions and so many close ones and fucking CM Punk and Mike Jackson going on for 15 minutes, just fucking hell. But yeah, let's break everything down from the ground up. So, the first match I want to talk about is hold the fucking phone. Hold up. So the first fight I want to talk about was the second fight of the night. It was Clay Guida versus Charles Oliveira. Charles Oliveira gets the win via submission. This was the first fight that I tuned into. I didn't tune into the first fight. I just didn't really just couldn't be asked. I didn't know who the fuck they were. Just couldn't be asked. But I knew who Clay Guida was. Obviously, I know who Charles Oliveira is. I was pretty interested in this fight, to be fair. Clay Guida coming off that win from Joe Lozon, and I thought, you know what, maybe, but I was pretty confident that Charles Oliveira was going to pick up the win, and he got it by a submission, meaning by a guillotine choke, meaning that he's level on submissions with Royce Gracie, which is just, what the fuck? That's just, to be in the same name as Royce Gracie, just goes to fucking show how amazing this guy is at what he's doing. So fair play to him, and brilliant win for him. He kind of needed it a little bit. Just saying, he came off that loss to Paul Felder, and like we discussed last week, he's got big losses against big names. Anthony Pettis, Max Holloway, Lamos, Edgar Swanson. All losing to those kind of guys. And finally got the win today after that loss to Paul Felder. So, and getting him up there, that this featherweight division, even though he's 28, had 23 wins and 8 losses, pretty seasoned vet. So that was a pretty big win for him. And then we had Joseph Benavidez versus Sergio Pettis. I was so looking forward to this fight. The return of Sergio... not the return of Sergio. The return of Joseph Benavidez after absolutely ages. And to be fair, it was a decision. It was a split decision. Sergio Pettis with a nod via split decision. So, how I scored it, I 100% scored the first round for Pettis. He dominated the fight. His, he had not even just accurate punches, but the punches that looked like they were doing some form of damage too. They looked pretty hard. They were, and then also, you had Benavidez going for the takedown completely, like not even looking close to get to the chance. So yeah, it was it was a pretty dominant first round there for Pettis. Second round, to be honest, I did give the nod again to Benavidez, so it was going 1-1 into this into the third round. He was just a bit more confident. He finally got into the groove of how he wanted to fight. Putting Pettis against the cage and things like that. So, he deserved to win that fight, win that round. So yeah, so it was 1-1 into the first round. But then that last round, personally, was pretty convincing for Pettis again. Okay, don't get me wrong. At the start of the round, you had Benavidez with the spinning back fist, but other than that, you had a lot of clinching against the wall. But again, Benavidez had a bit of clinching against the wall, but a lot of that was Pettis on Benavidez. There was even a point where it looked like Pettis even could have got a guillotine submission on Benavidez. So yeah, 100% that third round for him. So I wouldn't even go with a split decision really. Personally, I'd go with a unanimous. But the fact that he got the win was fair play. And then the next fight I want to talk about was the last fight on UFC Fight Pass. I think it was Rashad Evans versus Anthony Smith, and you just got to feel sorry for Rashad Evans, an absolute legend of the sport. Just one truly a pioneer, not a pioneer, but defo, like when you think of UFC, you think of like, I remember back in my day when I got into UFC, it was like, okay, who are the big names? John Jones, Vitor Belfort, Anderson Silva, Chuck Liddell, Rampage Jackson, and Rashad Evans. You just knew these names. And then, this was just a vicious fucking knockout. Anthony Smith picks up the win via just a horrible knee to the face. Rashad Evans had Anthony Smith clinched against the fence, but you could tell Anthony Smith was just pushing Rashad Evans' head to the side, and you think a seasoned vet like Rashad Evans would have known, okay, he's pushing my head to the side. Most likely he's going to hit me with that knee that I'm fucking looking at. The fact that it was so blatant that even on commentary, I want to say it was Jimmy Smith even pointed out seconds before Anthony Smith threw the knee. Jimmy Smith on commentary pointed out, he goes, he's looking to tee up that knee, and then all of a sudden, boom, clean. Obviously, as clean as it gets from a short distance. Well, he got the power in, boom, straight knockout. Personally, I think that was Rashad Evans' last fight. There's just not much for him to fight for after that. I think he's on 5 losses or something, like pretty tough. Yeah, 1, 2, yeah. So you got losses against Bader, Teixeira, Daniel Kelly, Sam Alvey, and now Anthony Smith. That's 5 in a row. That's just got to be. That has to be the end of his fighting career, and I hope it is, because you hate seeing people like that. It's not even worth it. Next, we had the first fight on the prelims, which is Rashad Coulter versus Chris De La Rocha. Pretty weird fight, this one, not gonna lie. I didn't break it down because I didn't really know much about these. I only knew Rashad Coulter through his fight versus Chase Sherman like a year or so ago. I didn't know much about him then. Chris De La Rocha just looking like my dad. Like, he looked about 45. How old is Chris? Let me check this guy's age, because he looked old as fuck and just not in shape at all. Yeah, he's 39 years old. Jesus fucking Christ. Starts fighting at the age of, 5 years ago? So they started fighting at the age of 34, sorry. Can't do simple maths. He's now 5-2, but honestly, I don't really see him, I just don't see him fighting anyone big, anyone soon. Okay, fair play to him, but the guy's nearly 40. That wasn't the best of fights, really, but he got the win via punches. He was in Rashad Coulter's guard, and it was just, vicious ground and pound that finished that fight off, to be fair. Yeah, that's all I mean. Not much else to really talk about that one. Next was a pretty fun fight. I really did enjoy this fight. It was Masad Bektic versus Ricardo Lamos. with the official result, you had Bektic beating Lamos via split decision. And, just breaking it down, because, again, a split decision just... Honestly, I didn't see it. I really didn't see it. I'm just going to go real quick. First round, Bektic, 100%. Lamas did get the takedown, but he didn't really do too much with it. Bektic was just beasting and fucking feasting. He was definitely the aggressor, hitting him with the body kicks and the hands and shit. Like, he was just the aggressor, 100%. Second round, again, more of the same, legit, it was just more of the same. Beck's just being aggressive, being the presser, getting the clinch, getting the strikes and the clinch going, so octagon control really. So yeah, again, really that second round to Bektic, and the third round again, Lamas got dropped. No, he didn't. Wait, did he? Did Lamas get dropped in that? I want to say Lamas got dropped in that third round. So whether you're getting dropped or not, that round clearly goes to Bektic personally. So even if you don't give Bektic that last round, because to be fair, as soon as he got dropped, it was Lamas being the aggressor in that fight. He was being, pretty aggressive with the submissions and what he wanted to pull off and stuff. So fair play to him for there. Okay, argument's sake, you give Lamas that third round. It's still 2-1 to Bektic. I don't understand how they got the split decision at all. It really doesn't make sense to me at all. It scares me. It honestly scares me. A lot of these decisions scared me. And another controversial one, really. This is what some people think, but again, I think it was more clean cut than that. Yeah, that's just me personally. Again, another split decision. The next fight, before I announced how it fucking finished, I should just talk about who was in it. It was Carlos Esparza versus Claudio Gadelha, and again, Claudio Gadelha with the win over Carlos Esparza via split decision. All right, first things first. First things first. I'm not even going to try and break those first two rounds down. Hands down, I don't think anyone will ever disagree with me. Those first two rounds, 10-8 to Gadelha. So, straight away, you're looking at a Gadelha win, unanimously. How people are giving these split decisions really does baffle me. It shocks me. And then again, I'd give Esparza 100% that last round. She was 100% more aggressive. She just didn't look like... It legit looked like she wasn't there for the first two rounds. And then all of a sudden in that last round, she probably knew she was losing, and probably just went balls to the wall, and it definitely got her the win. But again, that's a unanimous victory for Gadelha. There's no way you can put that as a split decision. Jesus Christ, Illinois, what the fuck's wrong with you? That commission's fucked. And then we had the main event of the prelims, which fucking shouldn't be, but okay. Curtis Blades versus Alistair Overeem, and with the official result being Curtis Blades beating Alistair Overeem via TKO, via elbows in the third round. Jesus Christ, Curtis Blades putting himself on notice. I think I want to say I picked against him, but I'll admit I was surprised one or two times in this whole fight. God, don't get me wrong, but geez, honestly, Blades, even if Blades hadn't got the finish in the third round, I feel like that would have been a 100% 30-27 victory. Then again, with fucking the Chicago, the way they've been fucking judging rounds previously, I don't know. But honestly, legit, it was just 100% Blades' fight. He was toying with Alistair Overeem, one of the legends of the sport, to get a big win like that. It says a lot, really. Blades finally gets the win by getting the third round was pretty interesting. We saw Blades striking with Alistair Overeem. I was like, dude, if you carry on striking with Alistair Overeem, even though you've won those first two rounds, all it is going to take is that Dutch motherfucker to hit one hand, and mate, all your hard work's finished, man. Please I know how good Blades' wrestling is. His wrestling is phenomenal. I was like, please go for the takedown, please go. Boom, shoots him for the double leg. I was like, oh, thank God. This is his fight. He's won it. And then all of a sudden, he gets into mount position and just the most vicious elbows. I've seen the finish like 3-4 times on Twitter and Instagram. It almost just looked like someone opened a tap on Alistair Overeem's forehead. It was right in the middle of the forehead, and you just see it bump, and it just started splatting blood, man. It was vicious as fuck. But what a win that is! That was definitely one of the best knockouts of the night for sure. I want to say he got a performance of the night bonus. I feel like the performance of the night bonuses was to Whittaker, Blades, and Charles Oliveira. So he 100% deserved it after that. Then we had the main event start with CM Punk and Mike Jackson. To be honest, don't even want to talk about this fight too much. This Mike Jackson guy looks like an absolute fucking prick, if you ask me. It was so obvious that he just wanted to stretch this fight out so he could be in the fucking fight for like 15 minutes. I really don't understand why he'd want to be doing that. Personally, I think it's fucking weird. Yeah, he just holding mean. He looked arrogant. He looked like a cocky little prick, man. Just fair play to Dana for saying that he's not going to be in the UFC again, because he fucking shouldn't be. So yeah, sipping over that fight. But yeah, Mike Jackson gets the win over CM Punk via unanimous decision. Pretty clear. I'm not going to argue with the decision, but it just wasn't fun to watch, was it? It was fucking shocking to watch. Next fight, we had Andre Arlovski versus Tai Tuivasa. I'm a big Tai Tuivasa fan. I'm sure a lot of you were after this fight too. Just breaking this fight down. Firstly, Tai gets the win via unanimous decision. And for once, I 100,000,000% agree with this decision. Exactly how I scored it as well. First round going to Tuivasa, second round to Arlovski, and then the third round to Tuivasa as well. So not much to argue with there. That is a big, big win for Tai Tuivasa. He really put himself on the map, hopefully, against a big name. He did get the win over... who's he got wins over now? Tai Tuivasa has got wins over... Rashad Coulter. No one else really with a big name. But he has got that win over Andre Arlovski, so fair play to him for that. Honestly, next, it's looking at the heavyweight division. Tai Tuivasa is ranked 12th. You know what? I didn't really talk about this too much, and I'm going to trace back just real quick. Curtis Blades. What is next for Curtis Blades? I apologise for skipping over it. I don't even know why I did that. Curtis Blades currently ranked in 4th. This is obviously UFC 225. So, Curtis Blades ranked in 4th. In front of him, Alistair Overeem. So he's beating that. Alexander Volkov and Francis Ngannou. Francis Ngannou is the only person that's beat Curtis Blades, and that was a while ago. That is not the same Curtis Blades that we saw this weekend for sure. I don't see too much of an issue with Curtis Blades. Curtis Blades will 100% go second. Francis Ngannou fighting on International Fight Week, so is obviously the champion Stipe. I've got nothing wrong with giving Curtis Blades a title shot after that, whether it be DC or Stipe who wins that fight. I feel like when you beat someone like Alistair Overeem in that fashion, I think he's going to 100% get the next title shot after whoever, unless it's like a weird fight between Stipe and DC, and then just Stipe wants the immediate rematch. Then maybe not. Then most likely they could just give him the rematch against Francis Ngannou, who I think he would beat. If 100%. I feel like I have seen the first Blades Ngannou fight. Curtis Blades didn't even go for a takedown, or barely went for a takedown. He didn't really commit to the takedown. He's a phenomenal wrestler, and seeing how Francis reacted to Stipe's wrestling, Curtis Blades will mop the shit out of Ngannou for sure. But yeah, I personally feel like you've got to be giving him a title shot next. And looking at Tai Tuivasa, Andrei Arlovski's ranked 9th, Tai was ranked 12th. I say you give him. Imagine him versus Junior Dos Santos. Oh, because I feel like Junior Dos Santos isn't the only person that hasn't had a fight. You've got Mark Hunt and Alexei Oleinik in a month or so. Tybura hasn't got a fight, to be fair. Maybe that might make more sense actually. It's Marcin Tybura, who's ranked 8th, versus Tai Tuivasa. That probably makes more sense actually, just to do that fight other than any other one. Yeah, Tai Tuivasa is fantastic. Some people are moaning at this, saying, potentially Arlovski won the last round, but nah. He landed like that big right hand at one point that proper rocked Arlovski, and then had Arlovski against the fence. It was honestly I don't think that was controversial at all. I think that was a unanimous decision, 29, 28, 100%. Yeah, 100% with that one. Next, we got Holly Holm versus Megan Anderson, and this again, not much to really break down here, but just a confident and phenomenal win by Holly Holm. This is exactly what Holly Holm needed. Coming off, that loss to Cyborg, and she needed a big win. Megan Anderson is not the worst case scenario for her personally. You're fighting in your debut, for God's sake. Just losing losing to someone of Holly Holm's ability, as good as she is, she can hang with. I feel like she can hang with anyone else, not named Holly Holm or Cyborg at the moment. She's a young girl, Megan Anderson, and there'll be a lot of room for her to grow. She's a 145 at her, so she will 100% need people to fight against in the 145-pound division. There's obviously not many of them. So yeah, for sure, 100%. I feel like Megan Anderson will be fine. In terms of Holly Holm, I don't know. I really fucking don't know with this one. One, because there's just not many people in the featherweight division. But as she said in a post-fight interview, Holly Holm does 100% want to go back down to women's bantamweight. Looking at the top 4 in the women's bantamweight. Obviously, you got the champion Amanda Nunes. You got Holly Holm, who's ranked number 1, and she's fought 145 in her past 2 fights. I don't know if that fight against Betchka Hay was at 145 or 135. I think it was at 135. But yeah, her past 2 fights have been at 145. So for her to still be the number 1 ranked in the women's bantamweight just says a lot. Second, you got Caitlin Vieira. Third, Junior Pena. 4, Raquel Pennington, who just fought for the belt. Most likely, I say most likely, but what the UFC should be doing is Nunes versus Cyborg. I can see that fight happening, to be fair. Both of them want it, to be fair, so I can definitely see that fight happening. I wouldn't mind seeing Holly Holm versus Caitlin Vieira, to be fair. Caitlin Vieira, 10-0. Hasn't got a fight upcoming. Just beat Sarah McMahon, Ashley Evans-Smith, and Kat Zingano. I'd like to see Holly Holm versus Caitlin Vieira personally. To get a 100% confident number 1 contender for whenever Nunes fights in bantamweight, whether it is her next fight or her next fight is against Cyborg. But I feel like it just makes sense to put them two together, see who comes out on top, and potentially get Holly Holm a rematch with her. Or I say a rematch. Has she ever fought Amanda Nunes? Has she ever fought Amanda Nunes? I don't think she has, actually. Raquel Pennington. Ronda Rousey, Tate, Shevchenko, RDA. No, not RDA. Do you mean Random? Sorry. Betchko Haircross. Oh, I would love to see Holm versus Nunes, actually. Just if the Cyborg fight happens between Nunes and Cyborg, I say, yeah, do Holly Holm versus Caitlin Vieira. If not, you just do Holly Holm versus Amanda Nunes for the women's bantamweight belt. It just makes sense. Yeah, 100%. Next, we have the co-main event, and I got this prediction so badly wrong. So with the official result, you had Colby Covington beating RDA via unanimous decision, and fucking hell, I don't know what to say. This was not what I expected. RDA I don't even know whether Colby Covington got into his head. I don't think it was that. Honestly, Colby Covington really surprised me. Am I a fan? Just a little bit, I'm not going to lie. I've never seen in a 5-round fight someone put the pressure on someone like Colby Covington did and looked like he did in the 5th round after putting it on for 20 other minutes to do it for another 5. Honestly, he won 4 out of those 5 rounds for sure. The only one that you couldn't give RDA was the 4th round where he was getting a bit more success, got the takedown. That's the only way I can see that. The only round I saw Dasonios winning. All the others for sure were Covington. Just the way he was closing pressure. I even felt claustrophobic just watching the fight. It was pretty intense, to be fair. Phenomenal performance from Colby Covington. Just not even letting RDA breathe. Real just putting the pressure on him with the strikes, and then with the wrestling, phenomenal wrestling as well. Colby Covington, man, really putting himself on notice. He's a talker. He backed it up in that fight. Do not get me wrong. Obviously next fight in Woodley. And if any of you guys watch the MMA Hour, which I'm sure you guys do, you must have already seen the whole Woodley and Colby Covington back and forth. It is going to be a fun fight. It is going to be so fun to watch. The whole just leading up to fight is going to be fun as fuck. Legit. I can't wait for it. Fair play, Colby Covington really did make me a bit of a fan, not gonna lie. He was just a beast, man. You can't really argue with that. I rate RDA so highly as well. And for him to do that in 5 rounds, can't really moan with it too much. Like I said, 100% gave Colby Covington the 1, 2, 3, and 5, and then Dos Anjos the 4th. Beasting, absolute beasting. Nothing more to say there really. 100%. And then next we had the main event, which is Rob Whittaker versus Joe Romero. First things first, before I break down this fight and tell you the whole thing. The whole thing with Joe Romero's weight cut was just so weird. It came out that Joe Romero missed the weight on first attempt. I think he was like 186 or something like that, maybe 0.7 though, so high 86. And then the Illinois Commission said that he's missed it on his first attempt. He does have a further 2 hours to cut weight, and then all of a sudden, he came back within the hour and a bit, really, and then he weighed in, and he came in at 185.2. So, honestly, ridiculously close. There's a couple of things I want to talk about first, but the whole fact that the whole thing where Illinois apparently cut the weight cut short. They said he had 2 hours. They only gave him an hour or so, and then they came up and were like, "Nope, stop cutting weight now. Get the fuck downstairs. You need to weigh in." Why was that? I don't know. I don't know the full stories yet. I'm just listening to what Yo Romero's managers have been saying and things like that. So that was just fucking weird. Honestly, what I personally think that's weirder, Yo Romero missing weight again. Missed it against Luke Rockhold. Missed it in the first fight against fucking Whittaker and missed it again. That's 3 fights in a row. And if you really think about it, I want to say that the obviously the Whittaker Romero fight, the first one was obviously a title fight, the interim title at that point. Then Romero's next fight against Luke Rockhold, again an interim title fight, and now again another title fight opportunity, and he misses weight all 3 times. I think there's a lot of saying into that. Personally, I'd love to see Yo Romero is a beast. Trust me. When we break down this fight, I was watching this fight going, I'm a big Robert Whittaker fan. And I was watching this fight going, fuck. Because I watched this fight twice, and the first time I watched it, I had it for Romero. Second time I watched it, I had it for Whittaker. It's fucking boggling, really is. Could have gone either way. The actual official decision was Robert Whittaker defeats Rio Romero via split decision, going 48-47, 48-47, and 47-48. Honestly, that's how I had it both times. I had it, but switch it. Obviously, I had, it was just such a close fight, and then it comes out that fucking Robert Whittaker has a clean snap in his thumb, and he did that in the first round, and you're like, fucking hell. What a beast. Breaking it down round by round, Whittaker for sure. Okay, just to clarify, both times I've watched it, and both times I've 100% gave Whittaker the first 2. 100% gave, and then again, so when I watched this fight both times, I know I'm repeating that better times, but when I watched this fight both times, I scored it. I scored the first 4 rounds exactly the same. I really did. Okay, no, I didn't. I lied. I'm just checking back on my notes now. No, I didn't. I had. Was it a 4? Yeah. Okay. So it was the one where I had Robert Whittaker winning. I had him winning 1, 2, and 4. And then when I had Yoel winning, I had it 3, 4, 5. So yeah, So that's how I had it for each time when they won. There's no point debating those first 2 rounds. 100% Whittaker, but 100%. Yo Romero getting the knockdown in round 3, so you got to give Yo Romero that round. And again in the 5th round, just for argument's sake, again in the 5th round, you had the knockdown again. So personally, you got to be giving that a 10-9 to Yo Romero, 100%. But the knockdown changed everything, because that is a significant strike. That is a big strike for him to take someone's legs out of him, 100%. But it's this 4th round that I keep debating on. I've seen a lot of people just saying that Romero had won this fight. Personally, I feel like Rob just did. He looked back after, having that really shaky first, after having that shaky 3rd round where he got knocked down. The fourth round, it really did look like he was fully recovered, and was getting some strikes off. It's just, I've tossed that one up both times. Personally, I feel like, Rob did win. Is that biased? Yeah, fuck, it is. It is. What's next for Robert Whittaker? Probably, with a broken hand to me out for a while. Most likely will be Chris Weidman. The only 2 people really fighting for contention for that belt now is Chris Weidman and Kevin Gastelum. So yeah, personally, I'd give it to Weidman because he beat Kevin Gastelum, so that makes sense. But is that fight going to happen anytime soon? I highly, highly doubt it. I just highly doubt seeing that fight anytime soon. Next up, for Yo Romero, I would want to see him just in. He's one of the best. Do not get me wrong. He's 100% one of the best in in 185 history. He's one of the beasts in that division, 100%, without a shadow of a doubt. But you can't be missing weight 3 times on a bounce and all 3 times being either interim or title fights. You just can't be doing that. And that is 100% time for you to move the fuck up. I'm sorry, it just is. 100%. Yeah, 100%. That is a fact. He has to move up. Personally, yeah, he has to move up to 205. Think about the matches that Romero could have at 205. He's a big fucking guy anyway. Not the tallest, but he's a big motherfucker. I feel like that's the best place to go for him. Now, my Instagram, I always save my news on my Instagram, and my Instagram is just being fucking weird at the moment. So I'm going to restart that shit. But I'm also going to try and remember them. I remember the first piece of news that we had was Henry Cejudo versus Demetrius Johnson Part 2 for the men's featherweight championship has been scheduled and it got confirmed during UFC 225. It's going to happen August 4th, which is also the TJ versus Garbrandt fight, which potentially, TJ and DJ on the same card together, potentially meaning that their next fight could be against each other. Fuck, would I love to watch that? But yeah, honestly, there is no one else for Johnson to fight other than Cejudo. Really, he hasn't earned his way back to that title shot again. Will he beat him? Probably not. I'll break it down obviously more when we get to the fight. But will he actually beat him? Oh, probably not. Even though Henry Cejudo has 100% improved since that other match against fucking Demetrius Johnson. Demetrius Johnson's just too good. I don't see him losing. And yeah, that's really it. And then the next piece of news we have is I don't know if this is. I want to say this has been confirmed, but I don't know if it has or not. I don't think it is. It's been rumored for UFC Lincoln, Nebraska. That's August 25th. For the main event of that, we're going to have the headliner, Gaethje versus Al Iaquinta. Obviously, the 155 division. Fuck me, that would be amazing. Obviously, Gaethje looking to snap his 2-fight losing streak after debuting in the UFC in 2017. Obviously getting that win over Michael Johnson and then losing to Eddie Alvarez and Dustin Poirier. Even though those last 2 fights got Fight of the Night honours, he just took so much damage in the last 3 fights. And you've got Al Iaquinta, who returned early this year after his year-long layoff against Khabib. Obviously, he was meant to fight Pettis, I believe. No, was it Pettis or Paul Felder? No, he was meant to fight Paul Felder. Obviously, that fight didn't happen because of the whole Conor McGregor thing and whatever. So he ended up fighting Khabib. Obviously, got the loss. But yeah, honestly, before that, he was on a 5-fight winning streak, and obviously a 24-hour loss to Khabib is nothing to hold your head up. So this is gonna be a big fight. Obviously, I always say I'll break it down more than a time. Just where my head's at the moment, I feel like Al Iaquinta has got that. Both of them are phenomenal striking and wrestling. But if Gaethje fights the way Gaethje fights, all Al Iaquinta's really got to do is just hold on for that first 2 rounds and then look for the finish in the last 3. And, Al Iaquinta's more than capable of finishing a fight in the last 3 rounds. So, yeah, pretty looking forward to that fight a lot. Big fan of both. So, yeah, that would be a good headliner for a main event too. So, yeah, and then the next piece of news was also during UFC 225. It was announced that Ronda Rousey will be joining the Hall of Fame 2018 class, which obviously happens during International Fight Week, which is next month. 100% deserved. Obviously, 100%. There's just no one else like Ronda Rousey in terms of women's MMA. 100% deserved. Congratulations to her. That's fantastic. And the last thing I want to talk about, not really big news, but it's just I always find these interesting. The The UFC 225 salaries got released earlier today. The biggest earner on the card was Alistair Overeem, getting $850,000 to show, and then the $10,000 Reebok sponsorship. The next was Robert Whittaker, getting a total of $610,000. That was $400,000 to show, $70,000 from Romero missing weight, an extra $100,000 from Fight of the Night bonus. Normally it's $50K, but obviously Romero wasn't eligible to get it for Fight of the Night, so he gets all of it, so he get an extra $100K. And then also this thing that I don't think I've ever seen before, but then it says $40,000 fight week incentive pay. So I don't know what the fuck that is, but it is what it is. And then you had CM Punk, who got a total of $503,000 altogether. He got $3,000 fight week incentive pay, and then obviously the $500,000 to show. Next was Colby Covington with $380,000, with $350 to show and $30,000 fight week incentive pay. Next was Rafael dos Santos with the exact same, and obviously next was Yoel Romero with $290,000. He would have got $350,000 to show. But then he got fined $70K for missing, and then he got the $10,000 fight week incentive on top. Then we have, where the fuck is it? Andrei Arlovski getting, he got the loss obviously, but he got $270,000 in total, 100 obviously, fucking whatever I'm saying. With $250,000 to show and $20,000 fight week incentive. Rashad Evans got a total of $170,000 with $150,000 to show and 220. Fucking, I'm just, these numbers are frying my head. I can't be arsed. $20,000 fight week incentive. Then you had Charles Oliveira with $165,000. That is $50,000 to show, $50,000 win bonus, $50,000 fight of the night bonus, and $15,000 for fight week incentive pay. And then finally we have Curtis Blades only getting a merely $105,000. That was $25,000 to show, $25,000 to win, so $50K from there, $50K from his performance on the night bonus, and 5 week incentive pay. For the number 4 ranked heavyweight in the world, probably going to be number 2. That's shocking for him to get that much personally, and fucking CM Punk's over there making just $500,000 to show. Like, Jesus fuck. But yeah, and that wraps up the 7th episode of the MMA Take podcast. I really do want to thank you all for tuning in over the past week, whether it was the podcast or just the YouTube channel. We've grown so much this week, and I really can't thank everyone enough. For all you those that actually care on the YouTube channel, Mike Perry and Ultimate Team is going to be back this week, I do promise. Next week we'll be finally fucking, because there's no fights, so next week we'll be breaking down Cowboy versus Edwards in Singapore. Not really much to break down there. So the big chunk of the podcast will be going through the MMA awards and picking our winners and nominees. That'll be a big podcast, so do look out for that. We're only going to do a couple of categories, but yeah, do look out for that. I want to thank you all for tuning in. This has been the MMA Take Podcast number 7. Just thank you all for the love and support we've been getting over the past week. I can't wait for it to carry on growing some more. Wherever you've been listening to this, I hope you did enjoy it. If you did, leave a like, subscribe, do what you got to do, and I'll catch you all in the next episode. Cheers.